phone view where you were on the bottom and mine was in like this tiny little square in the top.
Oh yeah. Well, we're live now, so you
Yep.
can tell everybody. Hey, we're live here. What are you drinking? Is I guess when we're calling it now, but we're gonna change that.
It's a working title.
Yeah, it's a working title. So I'm gonna toss it over to my friend Doug here. Doug, first of all, tell everybody who you are and what are you drinking?
Well, I'm Doug Ziegler, and I've found pretty much online as Scotchfully Yours. I have a Facebook page for that, mostly my writing stuff. But I have my Twitter and my Instagram are both Scotchfully Yours. Although Twitter was a little bit cranky about me trying to fit the whole thing in. So instead of doing Scotchfully Yours, it's SCOTCHFULYYOURS.
Oh, okay.
So it's one character off, but yeah, it's me. And what I'm drinking tonight to start, since we had this little discussion last week about how I am not a fan of IPAs, I thought I needed to broaden my horizons a little bit. So I found this, which is going to look backwards on my camera, but it's Key Lime Pie IPA by Evil Twin. And I have never tried this.
Busted open.
I'm going to. I'm a little scared. Although the reason I got it is because key lime pie is my absolute favorite dessert. So
we needed to do it. We need to do it. This is a good one. We need to do a pairing on that one.
This smells super hoppy, which is what I was afraid of.
Don't make Doug's IPAs too hoppy. Yeah, he likes more balanced one. Oh, that looks fruity. I need to shut up so I can see it.
Yep. So that is how it actually looks. Very classic IPA look, though. All right. So here we go.
Smell that bad boy first. What does it smell like? Tell me what that smells like. Does it smell?
I don't smell any lime. I don't smell. It's supposed to have graham crackers. It doesn't smell anything like that to me. It just smells hoppy.
Okay.
I mean, maybe a slight citrus smell, but not much.
Evil Twin. I'm sure many people have heard of Evil Twin. Ooh. If you haven't, you need to get out more. Very
limey. Not on the nose, but definitely on the tongue.
Oh, okay. Is that a would you say it's assertive? Is it
very assertive? It actually is way more assertive than the hops.
Oh. So it's a sweet one or a tart one?
Tart, very on the tart side. Not sour tart, but because it's got the citrus to it. Not citrusy in the way that New England IPAs are. It's way more just lime tart. Like if you just stuck a lime in your mouth, that kind of tart.
So are we in? Is this like a sour IPA? Is that what we?
I wouldn't call it that because sour has a very certain taste to it. Like I said, it's just tart, and I didn't mean it in the sense when you hear sour beer is always described as, well, it's very tart. It's again like lemon or lime, that kind of tart, not like grapefruit tart or anything like that.
Gotcha. So it's refined. Evil Twin, very good. So let me jump in here real quick. I'm drinking Northern Method Doppelbock from Potosi, Wisconsin. Potosi is a small brewery here in Wisconsin, very close to the Mississippi River in Iowa. They have Potosi has a wonderful beer history museum that they have there. It's fantastic. The brew pub is pretty nice, and they do good beers. And this one actually is a world beer winner from 2018. So it's a Doppelbock, so it's going to be dark. It's going to be malty. It's going to be big. And let's see what
Is that how it smells?
Yeah, it smells malty, but that's not graham cracker.
Really?
Biscuit. So then very malty. You would love this, in my opinion. Very little hops. I mean, I taste some, but it's just a malt background, malt finish. Getting some caramel in there. Very smooth for. I'm not. What do you say here? 8.5. Yikes.
And that's that. Well, most
Yeah, and it drinks
Doppelbacks are in that range. This one here that I'm drinking is
yeah.
7. So
7.
yeah, so I don't know if you can see
And
that.
this is one of those, I would call this a suspicious one because this is one that if me and you rode up to a bar and I said, just give me the Doppelbock, I could put a couple of these down if we were talking and we had a good heated conversation before I know it.
Yeah.
So this is a scary one.
Not that we have done that before or anything. So yeah.
Not that I've done this before, no. So no, this is a good one. So I would give this, I don't know, we don't have to rate beers, but this is very, very very, very drinkable for Doppelbock. Some Doppelbocks are too big for me. So I'm really enjoying this one. Shout out to Potosi, they're good stuff. They do they every year they do a collaboration with our homebrew club. And I think how it goes is that there's a contest, and then the people who win the contest get to go and brew a batch with Potosi guys. So
yeah.
Good times.
Yeah, I do like a good Doppelbock, but that's because it's a dark beer, and that's my little home in the beer realm. This is something because of the tartness. It's not something that I could drink a ton of. It's a lot tastier than I thought it would be. Like I was expecting the hops to just completely overwhelm it, and on the nose, it's definitely there. But when you taste it, it's definitely got more of the lime flavors really hitting you in the face.
Yeah. Give a shout out to Alex Mustico. What's going on, buddy? He's looking at us. Hey. Yeah. So I think what's going on with these, what I think is going on here is they're trying to, first of all, brewers want to do everything with IPAs. And I put a post in a group today. I don't know if you saw it about, hey, I got a new IPA, and nobody cares because there's just so many out there, and it's just so much overwhelming. But what I think is going on with these dessert ones, I think they're trying to get again another clientele in, and I don't, and I mean like, and I what normally is said here is that they're trying to get women to buy beer. Now that's not. I'm not going there at all because I believe women are better and super tasters of beer than even men are. They just choose to drink other things. That's because they want to drink other things. But the women that drink beer, in my opinion, are probably better at tasting beer than the men are. That's just my opinion. So it's not really women, but it's they're trying to get a different clientele, the sweet people who like sweet alcohol, and they're trying to mix that IPA stuff in with that. I think is what's going on. You know what I mean? So they're making them less assertive, is what I'm saying.
I think that's right. Like I said, I wouldn't classify it so much as a dessert beer, even though it's like a key lime pie thing. Dessert beers, I think we discussed a little bit before, are a little bit more in the sweet realm. I don't find this to be sweet.
Okay.
It's good for what it is. And I'm a big fan of Evil Twins stuff. They have some of the most creative names for beers I've ever seen. And they do really stretch the limits of what they want to try. I really like that ram on the can there.
Yeah, but I'm just showing everybody why you talk what I'm drinking in case people come in late.
Yep.
But keep going.
Yeah. So I think you and I were talking, and you told me that Evil Twin was a what do you call it, a gypsy brewery or a nomad brewery?
Gypsy brewery. Their Wikipedia page says nomad brewery.
Okay. So it's something where they just go and they brew with other brewers that they don't actually have a home.
Something like that. I haven't really looked into Evil Twin, but there's something like that. And then I don't know. It seems like they do mostly collabs or a lot of collabs. So that means, you know what I mean? So then that I think plays into them, brewing different places.
Yeah, I think there's a Against the Grain brewery in Kentucky is like that, if I remember right. They go and they tour a lot of different places. So, but yeah, I've always liked a lot of Evil Twin stuff. So, if it's key lime pie, I'm going to give it a whirl just because I like key lime pie. But,
yeah. And I was going to comment at some point when you were describing it. I was going to say, to me, this sounds like a flight beer for me, where it's like, give me this much. I want to taste it. I want to taste what you're doing. And then, sorry, I got to move on.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like having a little taster would be perfect. And you'd be like, that was nifty, but let's, go to the next thing.
But that's not, again, on some level, people paint it. People do paint that as a negative. And I'm here to tell you that it's not or at least for me, it's not, because I just want to try everything the brewer's doing. And I don't want to miss one. Like I don't want to be there and like get a flight of 4 and get the 4 worst beers at the brewery. Well, or the 4, what I'm talking about. Like
Yeah.
I want the best. I want to taste what the brewer's doing. In order to do that, I got to drink 8 beers.
Like how you set the bar there at 8 beers.
You see that? You see how all that works? I have it all planned out.
I think
So yeah, again, smooth, drinkable beer. Love this. Anybody who's near Tosi, grab this one. Obviously, it's not just my opinion. They finished first in the World Beer Championships on this one. So
yeah, that's nothing to sneeze at.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
it was great too because I just grabbed it, and then I got home and I was doing the pre-game research, and that's when I found out that it was a world winner, and I was like, oh man, that was good pickup, because you know how it is sometimes going to the beer store and just grabbing.
Yeah, and sometimes you're just like, I'm going to pick something and hope it's not terrible, but if it's a brewery that you have been to and are familiar with, then your chances are better because you're going to understand what their strengths are, what they brew best, how they approach their beer. That does matter when you're going to a brewery. If it's something where you're just kind of walking in and you're not sure what they're doing, then you're better off doing a flight, because then you can kind of get a sense of what they have. So
Yep. So then our buddy Alex here in the comments said that Evil Twin has a spot in Philly. Not sure if it's a tap room or if they brew inside. I thought I heard that they have a distribution brewery now. It's not open to the public. I could be wrong though. Sly Fox hosts a lot of gypsy brewers. So this gypsy brewing thing is, it's, I don't know, on some level it's smart. It diversifies you. I don't know. I think it's a good thing generally.
yeah, I mean, if you can be humble enough to trust other people to be a part of the process, that's the thing, is you're not the owner of what you're making, because you're trusting other people to be entered in the process. So if you're okay with that, then I think that it is a smart way. But brewing culture, a lot of it is very open and people wanting to collaborate with each other. So I think that's probably why they do it. And like I said, I'm a big fan of their beers in general. This is just more of a that was good and moving on kind of beer for me.
Yep, and I am moving on. But yeah, that's why I don't
go to the next one.
we could talk, right? We could talk about this forever, but this is why I've not resisted, but this is why I'm reluctant when I buy bombers. I have a lot of beer friends, yes I do, but not really close to me. And I live kind of out in the burbs a little bit, so I got to drive into the city to where most of my friends are. I'm not trying to drive in the city and then be drinking. I'm not trying to have them drive out to my house and be drinking. So then, you know what I mean? So bombers it's just too much beer for me. So that being said, let's open up a bomber. Yeah. Yeah. So
you're breaking your own traditions.
I've had this one for a while. I don't think I bought this. I'm pretty sure someone out there, maybe David Rogers, someone out there gave this to me. I don't even know how old it is. So this is gonna be fun, but this is Belching Beaver peanut butter milk stout. It's pretty much I know a lot of people know about this one, so I'm pretty excited about popping it open. Where are you at with peanut butter beers?
Oh, I'm a fan.
You're a peanut butter guy?
Yeah, I'm very much a peanut butter guy, and there's certain ones that I've had that I've liked more than others. I think my favorite one I've had is Sweet Baby Jesus from DuClaw out of Baltimore.
Yeah.
They make a really just a dynamite peanut butter stout. But I'm willing to try anything. So yeah, if it's peanut butter, I'm definitely on board. So let's see it.
So it smells like
Surly.
We can talk about them too. I got to bring some Surly onto the show. Surly is one of my favorite regional breweries. Excuse my language, fucking love them. But look at this hat here, man. Looks good.
Looks really excellent.
Reese's Cup.
Okay.
Reese's Cup.
So not
chocolate chocolate and peanut butter, chocolate and peanut butter,
Yeah,
chocolate and peanut butter.
I think you
So
made that point.
let's taste the chocolate and peanut butter. Chocolate and peanut butter. The aroma follows through.
Okay.
Not I don't know how old this is, but not the peanut butter is not overwhelming. I wouldn't even say it's assertive. It's there. We're talking 5.3%. So we're talking, it's kind of a low one there.
Yeah, but
Not
that's
a-
kind of in the range of what milk stouts normally are, I think,
right.
because of the lactose. I
Oh
think.
yeah, no, it's not right. Not it's not an imperial, so it's not going to be a huge one. This is a fun pairing this with Reese's cups or Kit Kats. I have Kit Kats upstairs too. I might even do that. I'm planning. This would be great. If we were sitting together and we had again a bunch of chocolate, this would be great on Halloween night. Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. So I'm gonna enjoy this one. And are you ready to crack open your next one?
Yeah, the next one I got is a crowler that I picked up today, as a matter of fact. This is from a brewery called Beer Tree Brewing. It's it's a small local brewery that's maybe been open, I don't know, maybe 2 years, maybe not even that long.
Obviously, without telling where you live, where local to where?
I live near Binghamton, New York. This is in Port Crane, New York, which is about maybe 10, 12 miles north of, northeast of Binghamton. And they generally make a lot of IPAs, but they do have some really excellent heavy beers too. What's interesting to me is their IPAs are kind of their home, and their middle beers they don't have a whole lot of, but they have like some very high gravity stuff that's excellent too. So I went in there today, and I was a friend of mine's the manager there, hey Ben, and I brought some of my beers. I generally go in there. I don't see him all that often, so when I bring stuff I have, so he can try it, and he'll hook me up with some stuff there, and try things. And
how long they been around?
What's that?
How long they been going?
About 2 years, I believe. It might be a little longer. They've probably been brewing longer than that. My wife's giving me this signal, so apparently it's 3 years. So,
hi, Joe.
Hi.
So anyway, I saw this, and it's a double pineapple coconut Northeast IPA, and I was like, I don't know what all that is, so let's just try it. And they gave me a little sample. My hopes were not high because I'm not an IPA guy.
No, well, you brought two today. I mean, again, I
gotta broaden my horizons, man. So, and it was absolutely delicious. And we were talking about dessert beers earlier. This is definitely a dessert beer. It is so smooth and awesome. So I'm gonna crack this. The problem is I cut my fingernails today, and I'm not great at opening cans.
Beer geek problems.
Mm-hmm. So, growler away.
So they're local. When you roll up there, do they have a brew pub? Do they got food?
They have a brew pub. They have a small little restaurant outside of it that they just. No, it's actually a little food truck, but they bought that business from the folks that had it because the food is so good, and they just make really interesting like tacos with like pork belly and crazy ingredients.
Switch because you got too much.
So are they one of these farm to table ones? Are they like what?
No, not that, not quite that, but they just have a really good food truck. But when I was talking to Ben, they are going to build a whole restaurant section, and they're going to be expanding because, I mean, I was there today, a bus stopped by, like unannounced, and they just handled it. They were great. I mean, everybody just came in and they just handled all of it. So anyway, I'm going to give this a little whirl and let you know what this is like here.
Yeah, Alex, like, the irony that Doug brought 2 IPAs after Greg was hating on them today. Correct.
Yeah, exactly. So this is very citrusy on the nose. Really, really, and it smells juicy, like the classic Northeast IPA.
See,
you don't smell any of the pineapple or coconut on the nose. There's none of it. And
while you're drinking, I completely. Oh, go on.
the taste is just like almost creamy
Oh,
and
okay.
pineapple-y, and I don't really taste much of the coconut.
I do.
You do, but I don't taste much of it. But
Maybe Joe might be really she might be really what is the
She's
word,
much better.
sensitive to coconut.
Yeah, she is much better at identifying flavors than I am. I will say that straight up front.
And this is what I was talking about before. Like when people say like, "Oh, they brewed that for women," they say, in my opinion, it's almost like it's a derogatory thing. Like women can't taste, and it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Excuse me, like, whoa, motherfucker. No. It's the opposite way around. Women can taste. Women are super tasters. A lot of them are. This is science. This is what I've learned through my things. Women can taste as better, if not better than men. So please, let's stop all that. So yeah, so I resoundingly respect Joe's opinion. She's probably right.
Yeah. Now the thing is, this one, she's probably right. This one is 8.8%,
Oh,
and I think
okay,
it's actually a double IPA.
do we get the alcohol feel there? Do we feel any alcohol or?
I don't. It's not like when you drink like a stout where you can taste all the booze up front. It's not like
Right. And some of these double IPAs, you can taste the big booze too. You can like, ooh, this is boozy.
Yeah, no, you can't. It would be really good on a hot day.
Man. So then is this IPA more assertive with the hops than the last one?
No, the other one, the hops, even though the hops were less than the lime,
Sure.
the hops to me, you get it on the tail end of when you taste it, but it's literally on the tail end and it doesn't stay long. It doesn't just hang around. It's there, but it's not like punching you in the face, and it's not going to hang out a while.
So this one sounds more enjoyable than the first one.
I would agree.
I want to set you up. It sounds.
No, you are exactly right. I enjoy this one way more.
You know, it's funny, man, because when you told me this when we were talking about pre-show, Doug and I talked during the pre-show, and then we figure out what beers we're talking about, so we know what we're talking about. So there's a little inside ball there. But Doug told me that he was doing this. He was bringing this one, and I was like, yes. But I was even like, yes, and I don't like pineapple, and I don't like coconut.
Yeah, that is.
But yeah. Who knows with an IPA, and this is a funny thing too. I want to talk about brewers put in your head, meaning they'll be like, "Oh, this is pineapple and coconut," and then that's what you look for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then, like, they kind of F with your head because you're like, "Oh, where's the banana? Where's the coconut? Where?" You know what I mean? So they make you look for that when they name these things sometimes.
Yeah, I can definitely I get more of the pineapple flavors, but I would be looking for that because I'm generally not a fan of coconut flavors. Mm-hmm. So maybe I'm looking more for the pineapple, and that's why I'm finding it more. But
and good. So you said you're not even a fan of coconut, but you weren't afraid to bring that one home.
I tried it there, and I liked it so much. I'm like, well, I'm going to get one of those.
That's good.
I'm going to say that my wife, who hasn't been drinking beer much of late, is really enjoying this sitting next to me. She's giving me face. So
nice. And no disrespect to Evil Twin, but I mean, again, in my opinion, the best beer is the smaller brew pubs that you just introduced me to. No one knows. Only and a couple friends. Almost, it almost feels that way sometimes.
Yeah. And it's just that place. It's not just because I have a friend working there. I really do enjoy their stuff. I mean, they have a stout series that's it's Bigfoot, but it's not like Yeti. You know how Yeti from who makes Yeti?
Great Divide.
That's right. It's not that. It's Bigfoot, and they have variants of it depending on what they add to it and name it differently. Mm-hmm. And that series is really great too. Mm-hmm. And when I was there today, because I share beers with this friend of mine, he had a can of something that didn't even have a label on it, and he goes, "I'm giving you this. This is our Russian Imperial Stout that we did a small batch of with maple syrup and coffee." And I was like, I'm saving that one for a rainy day. So I put that in the fridge. But
don't do it too long because the coffee will fall out.
Yeah.
Right, coffee falls out fast.
Wary of that.
So yeah. Coffee falls out fast, but I don't know. Coffee beers are amazing. I gotta make sure I get one. Yeah. So Alex says fresh is best. With IPAs, I find your local spots are going to be superior than the larger scale breweries.
Yeah, and I will tell you, to that point, I had one can of beer that I got specifically just for the label, and it was the can is there, but it was a label that was based off of um, Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs,
Oh,
and it was "Would you drink me? I drink me so hard" was the name of the beer. So this kind of takes off on that. And I was like, I have to get that because I love that movie. And I forgot about it. It was in my fridge for about 2 months, maybe even longer. And I took it with, and when we opened it, it was just totally oxidized. It was just so flat. It just didn't have it. It was just like,
and that was an IPA to style.
yeah, I
Yeah.
just got it for the label. So, I was not expecting that. But then when I opened it and we were like, oh, it just flat.
Well, yeah, and it also goes to pale ales too, because a lot of pale ales are very hoppy.
Mhm.
And I think the thing that really sucks about IPAs that are old and pale ales that are old, like they're supposed to be, many of them are supposed to be balanced. So the malt is supposed to balance the hops. So
Yeah.
when the hops fall off, it's just a mess.
Yeah.
And remember last week we had a beer that I was drinking for pre, and I was going to talk about it, and I was like, oh no, this is a mess. I don't even want to say the name because
Yeah.
I don't even know if we've had it was my fault really, which is I didn't drink it fast enough.
Yeah.
Really.
And it's funny, when I was discussing this with the guys at the brewery today, they were talking about how of late more of the stuff you get has to be fresh. You got to drink it fresh, and like even things that stouts were traditionally you can cellar, they're getting even away from that a little bit because they're adding so many different things to it. So like cellaring is a gamble. It's a real gamble. Like I had one today that I took that I forgot I even had in my cellar, and it was Sinsanity, which is it's an imperial stout with cinnamon, aged in bourbon barrels by Weyerbacher, and it's when you buy it, it's 13.3%, and I had cellared it unbeknownst to myself for almost 2 years. I found this. I was like, "Oh, I should probably take this in because why am I keeping this?"
Right.
And we opened up, and it was just a freaking cinnamon bomb. It was so you open it, was just, woof, and then you drank it. And it's like it didn't go away. It was just right up front.
Right.
And it was interesting because I didn't know that's how it was. I figured the cinnamon would dissipate over time, but it did not. It just went up.
Right. Or whatever was balancing that cinnamon dissipated.
Yeah.
And it just left the cinnamon there. And again, that's not the brewer's fault. That's your fault, Doug.
Yeah,
Your fault. No, but yeah, you're right. And so cellaring is cellaring is it's a trick, not a trick. There's a science to it. And a lot of it too is, the beer community online is a really good thing too, whether it be, our group or anything else where you can just throw it out there. I don't know if you saw in our group this week, somebody threw out there, should I buy these two CBSs? Or I think Founder, is it Founder CBS?
Founder CBS. Yes, there was
okay.
I guess Founders. He had two different styles, and one did just the label. I didn't know if it was different or if the labels were just different.
Yeah, the labels were different because they were different years. So one was 2016, one was 2017, and then that person was like, "Hey, what should I do?" And then you saw it, like, because some people were like, "Buy them," some people were like, "Pass." Like some people were like, "It's good," some people were like, "It's like it was like, like there's
all over the place
to it. There's no consensus. Yeah. So sometimes the online community is helpful, but sometimes
it's just kind of I'll just to me, what I will do is I will if I'm going to get something, I'm going to cellar it. I will actually buy like a 4 or 6 pack of it, and I'll take one of them and I'll take a little masking tape, write the month and year, and throw it in my cellar where I have a little area where none of the light hits anything. It's not at 55 or 60 degrees, which is kind of what they recommend when you cellar things.
Yep.
Probably more like 65, but I don't have a space otherwise. I don't have a root cellar, so I can't throw it down there. But generally speaking, most of the stuff I cellar turns out really good. There's a handful of things that were tragically very bad, but it's just like you said, a roll of the dice and see what happens.
And again, there's some science and logic to it. If you go higher ABVs, you do this and that and all that. And you also got to know. So another thing with these imperial stouts too, like you mentioned, you nailed it actually when you said that a lot of them have the variants, which are amazing, but you can't. I mean, you can sell them, but a lot of that stuff will fall out. Whether it be coffee, which you talked about, whether it be peanut butter in here, you know what I mean. They have the peanut butter imperial stouts, and like you said, all the stuff that they add, it makes it treacherous on whether to drink it. So, in my opinion, just drink it now, generally, because then you have these issues like me and you have. And again, I don't know if you saw, I was sitting here nodding, like you're like, I put some in my cellar, and 3 years later, and I'm like, you go in there and you're like,
that was just one where I just lost track of that one, and I don't cellar a whole lot of beers. I might have 25 or 30 of them, maybe, but
wow.
I generally know what I have.
There's 20 or 30 now, right now.
In my basement, yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
okay. I got about 10
well, you know, your boy David Rogers, ask him how many he has cellared.
Oh, David Rogers.
He has like hundreds cellared. So like,
well, actually, I think no, you're right. I'm not even going to argue that. He moved recently from like North Carolina to San Diego like 2 years ago or something like that. So like he had to diminish it a little bit, but by this time, you're right. All right.
Yeah, and yeah, it's like I don't think I need to do any more than that because it's just more of me trying stuff. I'm not a connoisseur. I'm not an expert on it. I just throw some things down there that I think might be interesting in a year, and usually I don't go more than a year.
You're that type of drinker too, man. You're and David Rogers too. You both drink the beers that could be good cellared. So then that leads you into cellaring. If you guys were both, and David Rogers likes IPAs and all that. One of these days we got to get him on to talk about it, but he likes IPAs and all that too. But he's, again, he's a big, bourbon guy. He's a big sour guy. So those things you can maybe put off a little bit. So that's why it works in his favor. But some people, if you're an IPA head, skip over this whole cellaring thing and don't ever do it.
I would agree because even me not being an IPA guy, like I just had something in my fridge for 2 months and it just was like the flattest thing ever. And I was like, if I want to drink flat beer, I'll grab some Coors Light. I don't want to drink this.
Right. And those are exceptions. There's exceptions.
Sure,
don't come at me with your Dogfish Head. What is it? 120. I hear you. I got you. I feel you. But that's not, and I don't even know. We could argue that that's a barley wine. So yeah, we're not gonna touch that. But no, generally speaking, your IPAs, I needed them yesterday. I needed them when the brewer was done with that. I needed it filled right then. So
and I think the brewers are also getting a little better about putting it on their labels. Drink fresh. I had one that I cellared, which was a Sticky Monkey from Firestone Walker, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna cellar that. That's gonna be awesome because it's caramel and all that stuff. And I pulled out a year later, and it was just like, oh, this is terrible. And I was so bummed because it was like I treated myself. It was like an $8 beer for a 12-ounce bottle, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna stick it down there in my seat. And I pulled it out, and I was like, that was. I should just drank it right when I got it. And what I didn't realize is right on the box, because it comes in a little box, because it's there. Those things are individual because they're specialty items, and it said right in the box, "Drink fresh." I didn't even see it. I just like throw it in the basement. We'll see what happens.
Right, and it's funny too. I don't know if they're still doing it, but I don't know. Do you get Stone where you're at distributed?
We get quite a bit, yeah.
Okay, so then you're probably familiar with drink by this date or drink after this date.
Yeah, they have that. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that because you know what I mean. Sometimes beer drinkers just need to be told. How about that?
That's true. Like I have a Chuckavesa that's in my basement that's over a year old, and I didn't even look at the label to see when it was supposed to be had. But I thought what I wanted to do was do like, a 3-year grouping to see how they were per year. But I'm not sure because those things are like they have chocolate and stuff, like sometimes stuff with a lot of sugar or fruits or just anything with fruit in it. You just don't even bother it's not going to cellar well. It'll sour it, even if it's like I'm a big fan of Mad Elf, and
Oh,
poor Kevin McKeever thinks it tastes like cough medicine. I don't. But I thought I'm going to throw one in the cellar, and I'm going to try them like next to each other next year. And I opened that bottle, and it was just, no, it was bad.
no, and my favorite Christmas ale is still Great Lakes Brewing Christmas Ale. I don't know if you ever had that one.
Mhm.
That's a pretty much standard old classic. And it ages like crap in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean,
We'll have to do a whole Christmas beer episode when we get around.
we just missed it, man. So so you're enjoying, so we're close to wrapping up here. So we what was that brewery again? I want you to shout them out again.
Yeah, it's let me get the can again.
Oh yeah,
It's Beer Tree Brewing. Sorry, it's backwards. They're out of Port Crane, New York. They distribute all over New York now. They're still trying to kind of find their footing a little bit as far as getting outside of New York, but they are scaling up, growing, and if you like IPAs of any sort, they have you covered in all kinds. The only thing I didn't see them have when I was there was the fancy new flavor of the month Brute IPAs, but they have a variety of different ones. They had a triple IPA there, which I'm not touching, but but yeah, I if you're ever in the Binghamton, New York area, or even the Finger Lakes, we're not far from the Finger Lakes.
And
I definitely recommend visiting them.
So when you go to a bar or when you go to a grocery, you can find them.
You can locally, yeah. Like I said, they're only distributing in New York right now. The stuff they have in like if you're going to like grocery stores here, Wegmans is the big grocery store. Wise, they'll sell some of their stuff that's like their flagship stuff. They haven't branched out and started canning or bottling anything that's more specialized yet because they're just not quite big enough. But I would highly recommend visiting them, especially if you're a person who likes IPAs.
Well, we don't have enough time to talk about this. We'll talk about it later. But it's a very interesting dynamic about small breweries, about how they distribute, whether they distribute, who their clientele is, how much they distribute, all that. I mean, it's just crazy. I just hope that I want a lot of them to think like small and local and just think about like neighborhood pubs. I think we need to go back to that. I felt that we were at one point, but I see a lot of people failing now, or a lot of breweries failing.
Yeah.
So I hope we really have a nice equilibrium where we can have, where people can walk to like a small brewery,
Yeah, and it's almost like the local bar thing. And I said, I don't mean to make it sound like they have designs on being founders or Sam Adams or anything like that. It's not that. It's just they've been smart about how they've gone about things so far. And I think it's just more that they believe that they could do well. And if they want to expand, they absolutely should. I'm with you on finding the small breweries that really match what you like and what you want to taste. And it'd be great if you had that locally all the time. I'm not sure what we'll get there per se, but I really hope so.
Yeah, and I'm just worried about I get concerned about overextending. And if that overextending is going to ultimately lead you to not be around, then you need to not overextend because I want to drink your damn beers.
Yeah, I think when you push yourself a little bit too far too fast, it could be pretty bad, especially if you're a small brewery. But I think they're doing it smartly, and that's why I'd recommend you check them out if you can get there.
Absolutely, man. So unless you got anything else, we should wrap up. I enjoyed doing my little thing here. I absolutely enjoyed this beer. This is great. Luckily, I have 3 more. So I'm probably going to do.
You may or may not be drinking after this.
Yeah. No. I got to save one for throw it out there. I'm in development a show called Daddy Porter's Beer Styles, or Styling with Daddy Porter. Sorry. Mm-hmm. And every show I do is one style and I talk about it. So I'm looking forward to doing this with this Doppelbock because it's a good one. So I got 3 left. Yeah, maybe 2 more for tonight. You're right. And then I really enjoyed this one, peanut butter milk stout by Belgian Beaver. I didn't do my research on this. Alex was asking about Belgian Beaver in the chat there. I didn't do my research on Belgian Beaver, so I'm sorry, but I will give them a shout out. Their milk stout is fantastic. The peanut butter came out. I don't know if you can rewind it. When I poured it, the head was fantastic.
Yeah, it was. That was lovely.
It smelled like Reese's Cups. It'd be a great pairing with Reese's Cups. I even said before that it would be a great beer to share after those Rugrats of yours came home out with all that candy. And you steal half of it on on Halloween. Absolutely, this would be great. So, Doug, give us a recap of your beers, and then we'll send everybody home.
All right. So, first one I had was the key lime pie from Evil Twin. It was good for me, not great. It might be other people's, maybe in their wheelhouse more than mine. I think it's worth it just to try, because why not try something different? It's definitely unique. And
if you like key lime pie, you should try it, right?
Yeah, give it a go, especially for the lime. I didn't get any of the graham cracker notes out of it, but maybe somebody else would, because maybe they have a more refined palate than I do.
And you got that recently, right? So you picked it up recently.
I just bought that 2 days ago. So it was not something where I had it sitting around. It's actually, I bought it fresh. So, and obviously Beer Tree, which we talked pretty heavily about, this beer was just really blew my mind, just considering how much I'm not an IPA fan. And I mean, I could drink a lot of these, and that's saying something.
That's great. That's great. So tell everybody where we can find you.
You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as Scotchfully Yours. Like I said, Twitter's a little different. You got to drop one of the L's in Scotchfully. But yeah, if you got any comments, anything, throw it my way. How about you?
And so next week, tell everybody next week we won't be around. Doug is traveling too. Say it, buddy.
Dad 2.0. I'll be going there with my wife, Jill, and we'll be doing a conference on raising LGBTQ plus kids.
Oh, cool.
And, also traveling the Riverwalk down there in San Antonio and trying not to cause too much trouble.
Right. And you're going to hit up some breweries, and we're going to talk about that next week, right?
Oh, I will be definitely doing that. Yep.
Got to do something, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
All right. So in 2 weeks, we return. It might be on YouTube. It might be on Facebook. Hell, it might be both. Who knows? But thanks for drinking with us tonight, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
See you in 2 weeks.
All right. Cheers.
Bye.